What's up, guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1985 Toyota Corolla GTS. Up front is a 1.6 liter inline 4, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this AE86 because it is a faithful recreation of the car from the cartoon Initial D. The owner has gone through incredible lengths to make sure it has the proper wheels, the proper bumpers, the proper pretty much everything besides where the steering wheel is located to the cartoon. And that's actually part of the owner's business, is offering people the opportunity to drive hero cars like this. So if you'd like to drive this AE86 Corolla on the track, please check out the link in the description below. If you'd like to submit your car and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form, takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 4AGE under the hood. Well, that's what made this car so special. It's a dual cam inline 4 that was incredibly rev happy and pretty reliable for the era. Is it the fastest, quickest, most highest horsepower engine to ever exist? No, but it was dang good at what it was intended to do, and what it was intended to do was to be fun, and fun it is. Oh yeah, it's just so lovely. I'm not breaking the sound barrier, but it's all working together. Put it down into second. That'll do. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission. It feels like an old friend. It is so lovely, so clicky and notchy into gear. It's so predictable, and I adore it, adore it, adore it. Last but not least, of course, the AE86 is rear-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive a left-hand drive adaptation of Mr. Fujiwara's Corolla? It's fantastic. Everything in here is great. The steering isn't too heavy or too light. The throttle is responsive. The shifter is clicky. Visibility is great. It just works together in harmony, unlike any other car. It's really, truly wonderful to drive, and it feels perfectly worn in. It feels like I've been driving this car my entire life, and I've only been driving it here this morning. That's what makes this car special and good, but we'll talk more about that later on. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 5 gauges. Off to the left is my coolant temperature, oil pressure, and tachometer, and off to the right is my speedometer and fuel. We do have an aftermarket Nardi steering wheel, and off to the left, I have a little climate vent, my headlight switches for the pop-up headlights, rear defrost, power mirrors, and on the door, we have aftermarket power windows, which I found really, really interesting because it actually just spins the factory manual windows. Kind of cool. Moving into the center, we do have a digital clock, climate vents with the proper imported from a 7-Eleven in Japan cup holder from the cartoon. Our heating and air conditioning options, love the look of this, an ashtray, cigarette lighter, aftermarket radio, and shifter. This is a proper TRD shift knob. Love to see that. Parking brake, and unfortunately that little cup holder on the dash doesn't fit the big friggin' bottle, so Takumi was not bringing along the big friggin' bottle. Now, I am sitting in a aftermarket bride seat. However, the passenger seat is original. We are still 0 for 2 on reviewing 80s Corollas with stock seats, but that's okay. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So I'm gonna shove myself back there. All right, so I accidentally forgot to hit record and you didn't see me almost moon the entire paddock of Autobahn Country Club, but that's probably for the better. I'm in the back seat of the AE86 Corolla. It's not terrible being back here. It's not good getting in back here, though. It's not great. It works. It does have back seats. You know, this is where the tofu would go, so it has that to its advantage, I guess. But here it is. This is the back seat of an AE86 if you've ever been curious, but let's now talk about the hatch because the other one that I drove was actually a coupe. This is a hatch. Kind of cool. Different. All right, around the back of the AE86, I popped it from inside, although it didn't seem to work. There we go. Got the hatch open. Here is the hatch. Here is where the tofu would go. And so you don't get a whole lot. You did get speakers in the back, which I quite like, and tons of space. I could see why this was used as a delivery vehicle in the cartoon. So very, very cool to see all that. You can put the back seats down, of course, and that's pretty much it. But very, very cool to see in person the back of an 886. Now we got to talk about the looks, and of course, this is finished in the Initial D paint scheme. It's missing the Fujiwara Tofu Shop logo on the side, but besides that, it's painted in its beautiful panda way. It has the added fog lights, it has the proper bumper, which is the Japanese spec bumper. It is an original Toyota part, so it is all the correct stuff on the outside of this car. And just seeing this car, if you have any interest in Initial D, it raises your blood pressure just a little bit. Seeing it, you get happy. And that's my final thoughts. What do I think driving another AE86 here on the channel? Because this isn't my first one. I, of course, adore this car. It's so good to drive. It's so fantastic. This is it. I mean, this is the car. It's one of the best out of the 80s, and I will stand by that till the day's end. However, as I was driving into Autobahn Country Club to make this video today, I kept thinking about a meme that was a picture of a car or a car like this and said, "Congratulations, you just spent $20,000 on a 40-year-old Japanese car." And people laugh and say, yes, you overspent on a little car that isn't fast, that isn't gonna break the sound barrier, that's not that crazy. But my response to that is A, who cares? But B, if you have a passion, it doesn't really matter how much you spend. This car means so much to so many people. In the same way that I would spend infinite amounts of money to drive a Ghostbusters Ecto 1 every day. To own that car would be an absolute privilege because it was such a big part of my childhood. To drive and own this car, Initial D is a rite of passage for anyone who's into Japanese cars. It's something you have to do, you have to watch, either sub or dub. I don't care which one, just enjoy the show. And then to be able to own or even just drive part of that world, to immerse yourself in what you've spent so many hours watching and consuming is so special. It's this realization moment. You get to experience what you've only watched from the sidelines for decades. And that's how I feel driving this AE86. I've spent hours and hours and hours watching this car on TV, watching it race up and down Mount Akina, beating the R32, the Rotary Brothers, the Takahashis. I've also spent hours playing Wangan Midnight in my local mall. We used to always go and play, and we would drive and have fun, but it was always a fantasy. That fantasy has become a reality here today. I get to say I've driven it, I've done it, and that is what makes this car so special. And when something is special to you, you'll pay almost any amount of money for it. And that's the case here with this AE86 Toyota Corolla. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Luke for letting me borrow his AE86 for today's video. Like I said, he has a hero car business where you can rent this vehicle, drive it, and you get to have your own experience in the AE86. And I highly recommend that you do. Luke has been absolutely wonderful to work with, and they're expanding their hero car fleet all the time, so maybe they'll have something even cooler down the line. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.